figured out.
All right.
We are live.
Are we live?
For sure.
All right, cool. So we are live, I guess, officially here on Facebook. Friday afternoon, just finished up lunch. I know Dom has just finished his up literally as we speak. Nice salad going in. Dom is looking great. Still doing fantastic. Yeah, super excited about what you've been doing over there in Canada, Dom. And I know you've been a little stressed here. You got a little stressful stuff going on here with a little couple of skids there. A couple 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever you got going. Skews going on over there. So or some skids. So yeah, I want to hear about that in a little bit. But Chris, why don't we get things started here on Facebook on the live and say, first off, welcome. And if you guys want to share this up, we would appreciate it. Let other people know about the TAS Power Hour. We've got a few things we're going to address just to kind of give people a heads up. We're going to talk a little bit about keyword, the indexing, the people have been talking about, like, you know, what our thoughts are. Going to give you a little bit of an update on our recent product launch, our second product launch within this new brand that we've launched. And we just did a Facebook Live with it and what those results look like. And what else, Chris, are we going to talk about?
Oh, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we've been waiting to get some news on, some of the interesting changes that gave some people heart attacks last night. Scott, I'm getting some feedback from you.
Well, probably because I have the volume up so people on Periscope can hear, but if you want, I can turn it down.
I don't know. Guys on Facebook Live, let me know if hearing my echo is just annoying you, if you guys can even hear it, because I know I wouldn't want to have to listen to me twice. No, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been going on this week on Amazon. Scott, I think we should dive a little bit into the case study on the second product that we launched in that new brand. That's an interesting way to do it. And if you guys hung out with us last week, you got to hear about the way that we traditionally have done that. We chose to do something a little bit different because we didn't want to kind of over promote to our email list. And so we launched it in a different way. And that was, in my opinion, Scott, just as successful. And you see the numbers on the actual units. I'm just looking at the gross total, but I think right now it's pretty much neck and neck between the product that's been out for 4 days and the product that's been out for almost a week now, just over a week now. So, you know, yeah, it's kind of interesting how both of those took off independently with very little in terms of effort put behind the actual promotion of them because of the product selection and the effort that we put into building the brand up front. So we're going to cover all of that stuff. Guillermo says the echo is gone. Everybody says that they can hear us. So that's a great place to start. And guys, one other thing before we dive in, if you guys do have any questions, leave them in the chat below. If you like what we're talking about, give us those little hearts, the thumbs up. If you don't understand something, throw up a Mr. Yuck or a frowny face or any of those kinds of things. And we'll try to keep track of all that and make sure that we're communicating with you guys in a way that you understand, but it lets us know that we're on track with what we're talking about as well. So make sure you guys do that as we work our way through the topics here today.
Yeah, cool. You know, definitely want to dive into all of that. Dwayne, TAS podcast addict, love it. Anyway, yeah. So I want to kind of dive into the case study too, because I think that's what we're most fired up about right now, you and I personally. And I want to hear a little bit about Dom's week. I know he's been busy unloading trucks with crazy amounts of inventory. And I want to dig into that a little bit and kind of talk about that. But I want to have a little bit of a focus here of what we can kind of talk about, but also what we can kind of maybe get some discussion talk, and start talking about. Like in the Facebook group right now, in the live right now, in the comments, go ahead and let us know that you're there, number one. And then number two, give us a question. If you guys have a question, let us know. Okay, let us know what your question is right now. Maybe what's the one thing that you're struggling with this week? Because I think it's important to not just think about everything that you're kind of overwhelmed with or that you're thinking about, but what are the, what's the one thing right now that you're most getting hung up with? I also wanted to address this really quickly, Chris, is I wrote my email this morning, and I never know where that email is going to go. But I literally, fired up the text editor and started writing my email. And, it kind of came to me that like on Fridays is generally my day to check in. It's kind of like my way to say like, all right, what did I do this week? Like, what did I do? And kind of reflect on that. Dom, have you ever gone through the week and said, what the heck did I do this past week? Like, there's so many different things. You forgot what you ate yesterday. Like, not you because you're so dialed in. I know that, Dom. But has there been a day that's gone, you're like, when did we do that? Was that Tuesday? Like, what did we do on Tuesday? I forgot what we did on Tuesday. Has that ever happened to you, Dom? Is Dom there? Is he muted?
No, I'm there. Yeah, I've had it a lot of times. I was going to say, sometimes by the hour that happens to me, or maybe in 2-3 hours at a time it'll happen. Especially, my teammates here and my management staff, and including my wife. She'll tell me something, and I'll totally forget an hour later I was supposed to do that. Yeah, it's the flow, right? You get busy. It happens to everyone, and it goes by so fast. It's kind of like when you're driving. You're thinking of something, but you got your eyes on the road, and you're like, did I just pass my exit? I've probably done that a million times. So that's why I can equate it to you. The days, the hours go by fast. That's for sure.
Yeah. So some people want to know why we have you on a delay. We don't have Dom on a delay. His connection is poor today for some reason. And someone just said you need to upgrade your webcam. It looks like you're using a 2001 webcam. Dom, we just talked about this before we got on here. So
yeah.
We are going to have to address those issues, aren't we?
Yeah, no love for. I mean, on the other, when we were using Blue Jeans, it was all right. It's just this face-to-face, or what's it called?
It's Be Live. Yeah, we're using Be Live on
Be Live. Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking. I got the Facebook feed up. I see my face is like
yeah. And Ben said it's like dial-up. All right. Man. So what we're going to do while Dom's connection gets steady again, I hope.
Maybe I'll come back in. You want me to do that? I could try that if you want.
I don't know. Chris, you could come out and come back in.
You can try it. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and try it.
Okay.
All right, we got definitely some questions coming in. Kyle says, "Thanks, Scott, for the shout out. You're the man." Well, you're the man. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a podcast listener and a Facebook Live attendee. All right, so what I do want to talk about really quickly is kind of like what we've done. Oh boy. Let's decline that. That's what happens when you don't put that in airplane mode, I guess, or do not disturb. All right, so what I wanted to right now just talk about is that case study, Chris. Let's kind of dig into that. So let's get people caught up as far as what we've done with this new brand that we've started. And it's been now for about 8 weeks, 9 weeks that it's actually been officially, maybe a little bit longer. That we've actually started it. It's probably been a little bit longer, about 3 months, right? That we've actively
February.
Yeah, we've been actively moving that forward. So let's kind of get people caught up really quickly on what this looks like and kind of how we got ourselves ready for our first product to launch.
So realistically, in that 2.5 month, 3 month period, we've sourced what, Scott, 5 products?
Yeah.
And we've launched 2. The third one is going to launch within the next week. The fourth one is going to kind of launch right after that. We're doing kind of everything that we generally suggest people don't do, and it just happened to work out that way, where we're launching kind of back to back to back to back. But because there's a few of us involved and we all know what our strengths are, we can kind of do that now. If you're just starting out, I would not suggest launching 2 products back to back. And I think Dom can kind of back us up on that. That's not usually the smartest thing to do. And you run into some logistical challenges. So to start off, we said we want to really build a brand and we want to showcase all the things that you can do on Amazon, but also a lot of the stuff that you can do off Amazon. So we started by building our email list, which you guys have heard us talk about in the past. If you don't know what we're talking about there, you can go to theamazingseller.com/build list and hear that whole strategy and see what we're doing there to get emails and why we're doing that. So we did that for 2 months while we were kind of waiting on products to ship. Last Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, it's been a crazy 2 weeks or week and a half, I guess. The product hit the warehouse and we said, okay, let's launch this baby. We sent out an email to that list that we had been building. We gave them a 50% discount and we sold 147 units, something like that, 150 units-ish.
Over the course of that,
in 5 days, right?
Yep.
That was product number 1. Product number 2, like Friday of last week came in. So we turned that around, sent that into Amazon warehouses, and that hit Monday?
Yeah, I think it was Monday
or Tuesday. And so to launch that one, we said, okay, well, we talk about using this email list, but when you're launching products back to back, we don't just want to beat people over the head with buy our stuff. We want to provide them with a lot of value. And so let's think of another way that we can launch this. So what we did this week is that brand has a face behind it. We've been building a social media following on it. So what we did was we had them build a piece of content that used the new product and just let people know that it was for sale. And Scott, do you happen to know the numbers offhand of what we did from that launch so far?
I don't have them off the top of my head, but I know the first day it was over 60 some units just from the Facebook Live. And
our goal is to get 50 to 100 sales, right? From
not even though in a day though, Chris. Like
right, and that's where I was going to go with that. Is when we used to do giveaways where we would give stuff away for free, the goal was to do 10 sales a day for 5 days, right? Or 10 days if you were in a more competitive market to get you to 100 sales. We were able to do 60 in one day. And what that does is that really spikes the algorithm. That lets everybody know that you're on the map. And we're already ranking for our main keywords on either the top of the second page, bottom of the first page for a lot of them. And on the product we launched less than a week or just over a week ago, we're ranking #1, I think, for one of our main keywords now. And we're ranking on the first page for almost everything else just from doing that, those little promo type things. And we're starting to pick up steam organically now tremendously. We have PPC sales rolling in with 0 reviews on one product and 4 reviews on the other one, guys. And the organic sales are coming in as well, just based on what I'm seeing from PPC. We're getting a handful a day from there, and then the rest are organic. So,
yeah, no, it's working well. And again, some people might be thinking, well, Scott, I don't have a brand, or I'm not sure I have a Facebook brand. You don't necessarily need to. Perfect example is, Dom. Working with Dom, we have the Open brand, and we have a product in there that has no following, really nothing other than it was a product that is definitely, related to another product that's hot. And then from there, very little reviews, so very little competition, and then just, starting pay-per-click right from day one. So literally not even doing any type of giveaway. So it's a whole nother strategy. So I guess I just want to really point out to people that, there's different strategies for different markets, different products, and wherever you are. If you're building a brand, then you can do the have a face to the brand. If you're not building a brand and you're doing an open brand, then just launch products, but find markets that have these trending areas that you can tap in on. Dom, what's the risk on having a product in an open brand that, and I know this is something that we're thinking about right now, like what's the risk in buying a whole bunch of that one? I say like 2,000-3,000 of that one because we're starting to sell through them quickly. What's the risk on doing that?
Well, with a trend product, it's definitely exactly what it is. Some trends will last 5 years. Most will last maybe a year or 2 at the most. If it's a fashion trend, it might only be 6 months. So, you have to keep your inventory as tight as you can. But then you run into situations like we did because we didn't want to push it too much, that we keep running out every week. We order 1,000, we run out. We order 1,000, run out. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt and try to figure out, as you get used to doing more trend type items or that type of those type of ASINs, you'll get used to it. But yeah, that's always going to be your biggest challenge is how much to order. That's with anything, but especially with a trend type product. You don't want to get caught with 5,000 units and the trend is dead. And I could go through a million of them. Garcinia, copper infused socks, compression stuff, all these, selfie sticks. These are, they're so popular and stuff, but they're phases. They're not, they're not trends that are hot anymore. It goes in and out, whatever it is. Just like, all these guys jump on those crazy looking, I don't know what they are. What are they? Cushion things that you use at the beach or something. You unzip them and you fill air with them and you zip them back up and you sit on them at the beach or in your backyard, or I don't know, some banana chairs or something. Again, it was great for the first couple of weeks and now it's oversaturated and it's just dead, right? So another the electric scooter things. Remember they were outlawed. Everyone put their money to that. We're gonna make hoverboards or whatever. Same thing. Look, how many people got caught with that? I bet you tons. Again. So you got to be smart about it.
I just noticed Target selling them in their store now.
Yeah. Well, they're probably brand name though, right? It's probably like Healy or that scooter company that makes it. I don't have the name right in my head, but they make high end scooters. Razor, that's it. That's who it is. Yeah. So they're probably people know the brand name, so it's good. Now the good thing about the open brand is if you get caught on that, you still have all your other stuff. You're not building a whole brand based on a trend. Right, you're just doing, and some people do that. They base their whole brand on whether it's again could be MMA stuff. It could be popular pop culture stuff that's hot now, and it just, in a year from now it's dead, and you're stuck with all this stuff. So it has its good and bads. Trends are nice, but it's always good to have those accessories that are add-ons and stuff like that for those type of products and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, we have any quick questions on this, or any questions that relate to what we're talking about here before we move on?
We got a whole bunch. Billy wanted to know, will this brand have multiple products in the future, and how did you decide on the first product? Yes, like we said, we're sourcing the first 5, and there's actually a ton more that we can do. And Scott, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we picked the first one because it was the first one that we could get. It wasn't.
Yeah.
We kind of looked at all of them, and we've been going through the sourcing on all of them, and that was just the one that kind of came back to us the fastest.
Yeah, it was the fastest, and to be quite honest, it's the first one we went after was what we talk about. It's creating a bundle. So we were able to create a little bundle, and I think it's going to continue to do well. But it's one of those that I don't think is going to be the home run. I think it's going to be a steady seller. That's what we go after anyways, but there's a couple of these that I think could potentially be home runs, which I never set out to be, but I just think that, and I know, Dom, you've talked about this, is like once you start to have products that are definitely similar to each other and that help each other and complement each other, you're going to have a few that are, they're kind of winners, like they're ones that are going to stand out from the crowd. And I definitely see a few of these being those. So I'm excited about it, but yeah. And how did we really figure out that first product? To be honest with you guys, it's like we talk about, it's very similar to the touch list. It was something, that my wife had brought to my attention, and I thought it looked like an interesting, opportunity, and we looked into it a little bit further, and that's how it kind of started. So this wasn't something I found on the Jungle Scout web app. It wasn't something that I seen someone else talking about in a group. It was something that we were aware of, and that we thought could potentially be something for the future. The other thing is too, the only reason why we decided to go through with building a brand is because the partner that we partnered up with is definitely someone that could be that. Without that, it would be a lot harder. The other thing is too, is we also knew that this wasn't just a trend, even though it could be a trend on some of the products, but we're thinking further ahead that it's going to be something we can expand into other areas of this market, not just this one. But we have, like we've talked before, we have niched down into the actual market itself. Hopefully that makes sense, Chris.
Donald wants to know, why not launch 2 products back to back? Is it because of the stress, time, and cash flow? And Donald, those are the three things that I would say kind of come off the top of my head. And Dom, I want to get your opinion. For a first-time seller, do you think it's stress, time, cash flow, or is it just like focus? Or do you not have a problem launching multiple products at the same time for a first-time seller?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be, first of all, is your capital. Most people, from our understanding and helping people and, going on everywhere, the group, our group, TAS group and stuff, people can't pick one product, let alone trying to launch 2. So realistically, you want to launch 1. If you want to launch 2, I would do it in a variation form. I wouldn't actually launch a second product. I'd actually launch the first product with 2-3 different variations. So it's basically like having 3-4 products on launch day.
Yeah,
that's how I would do it. If you've got capital and you got time, then you could do it. Again, that wasn't the norm 2-3 years ago. Do 1. Let's go back through the whole history of private label. Launch 1, get to 20-30 sales, launch another one, wait till 50, whatever. Again, once you've done that a couple times, especially with your first, second, third product, once you're on a multiple products, you can basically. We have no problem launching 4 or 5 products at once. A lot of times it kind of happens that way. We're working on 4 or 5 products all the time. By the time they get finished and shipped, they actually start landing 3-4 at a time.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
That's what's happening, right? Because you're kind of you can't. What I would do is wait for one product to get ready, launch, and then start another one. Especially in our situation, because we would need fresh products all the time. We want to build our brand, the open brand, my brands. So I would focus on one. We also
have our feet under us, though, too, right? Like, if this is your first rodeo, you don't jump on every bull that's there, right?
I mean, you guys have 3-4 you guys working on that on your brand that you're working on. But I mean, it's a huge. It's going to be a huge accomplishment at the end, but it's a lot of work up front when you have 3-4 experienced people, when you have a spokesman behind your brand that already has some notoriety, that type of stuff. It's going to make it a lot easier because you guys are all taking, Chris, you're doing the back end, the other person's doing, the front, and then Scott, you're just, you're doing all this is what we need, the product selection and all that type of kind. So when you have that as a team, it's great. But again, it's years of experience to do that. You have to do it on your own. It's not that easy. The one product I find, it's hard for me when I coach and help people for them just to get one product launched. As soon as they start talking, I want to launch this, this, and this, I'm saying, listen, let's just source your product. Do you even have your samples yet? No, not really. Yeah. Well, you're talking about 3-4 products. So that's what my suggestion is anyway.
And I want to highlight that though, Dom, because you brought up a good point, is an easy way to launch 2-3 products is to have one product with 3 variations or 2 variations. Yeah. I think that's important because that is, to me, then you're putting all that power behind one listing, and then you have multiple SKUs underneath that one, and then they share the reviews, they share the rank, all of that stuff. So, but it gives you more legs, out there for people to. And actually, it's funny because Chris, we talked about like we launched 2. But technically, the one that's going in right now is technically 2 more because it's 2 SKUs. There's 2 different colors.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So technically,
with variations, it really is one product in terms of like the effort that you put behind it in most cases.
Exactly.
Right? Like in a color variation, size variation. Now, if it's like a water bottle, and a carry bag for it, maybe that's a slightly different thing. But if you're launching a variation, it really is more like one product because you're doing PPC, once.
Right.
You're creating one listing and then slightly changing it. Yep. So you only still have that one set of things to look at versus, okay, I need to do all of this stuff for product A and all of this stuff for product B, and I need to make sure that I don't drop any balls anywhere. Awesome. So Donald wants to know, he says, do you sell on your own website right now? Or are you just offering coupons, capturing emails, and then forwarding people to Amazon? We will be selling on our own site. That is something that we're definitely going to do. We're going to share all of those cool things with you guys as well once that starts. But
the one thing on that though, Chris, I just want to say, you and I just had a conversation about this just the other day, because we're going to be actually sending people. We could probably go through that process. That'll be a longer process. We'll have to do that. Maybe we'll do that next week. But really how we're splitting the traffic now, where we have people coming into a contest giveaway, and then we're going to split them into, yes, I own a bass boat. No, I don't own a bass boat. And then from there, we split them in our email list, but then we also give them a different message. So right now we would have a, yes, I have a bass boat. Hey, thank you so much for, letting me know that you're part of the bass fishing community or whatever, or the boat owners community or whatever, right?
Thanks for letting me know you own a big boat.
Yeah. And then the other one will be like, hey, you don't own a boat yet? That's all right. Here's what I got for you. Here's the 3 boats that I like. And then you kind of give a review on 3 boats, right? So that's what we're actually doing to split that. But what's really cool about this though, and kind of the direction I wanted to kind of take this, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but you and I talked about, like, do we direct that traffic now still to Amazon, or do we direct it over to our own, make the transaction and have Amazon just fulfill it? And my initial thought was, well, we want to really start boosting and keep boosting the Amazon side of things right now. Whenever we're ready, we can disconnect that and then just do the fulfillment and then run the sales and save ourselves some money. But right now, we want to take every bit of effort we have, any support that we can get to our Amazon listings to rank, we want to do. So that's why we're going to just keep pushing sales there, but we want to interject that with an email list. We have an email list to do that.
That's kind of the sticking point, I think, for a lot of people, is like, oh, well, why wouldn't you just send it to Amazon, right? Yeah. And the reason is, one, you can't track it. Even with all of the things that we can do, like a coupon code, and we know how many people hit the page versus how many people use the coupon code. We learned from our promo to the email list last week that less than half the people that bought it from the email actually used the coupon code. Right. So we know that was the only traffic source that was going. So we can assume that, 90% of the sales that we got last week or more came from that email list, because we weren't ranking for anything organically. The reason you would want to do that on your own site is, one, you can track and know exactly how many of those people buy. 2, then that's your customer, not Amazon's customer. And 3, it gives you the opportunity, if you have a line of products, to sell them multiple things, know what they've bought, know what they haven't bought. It's a lot more advanced and not necessarily something that we're going to talk about. But up front, I wouldn't sell on your own site. Send them directly back to Amazon once you've captured their information and you know what they're looking for. Give them a good deal and they'll buy it there for you.
Cool.
Guillermo wants to know, what's the approximate price range of these products? I believe they're $15 to $20 right now, depending on the product. I think we are going to move that price point up just a little bit. And some of the ones that are launching, I think the next 2 that are coming out are going to be more in that $20 to $30 range.
Yep.
Well, not the next one, but 4 and 5.
Well, no, the next one will be over 20.
Okay.
Yep, and then the one after that, the 2 after that will be between 22 and 30. So yeah, we're trying to mix that in, trying to get those up a little bit. So yeah, that's what we're doing there.
Somebody said, did you get involved in the fidget spinner madness? What are your thoughts on? Is it going to be too flooded now?
I love this question because I want to tell you something. My son came to me with these when they first came out. And he's like, Dad, look at these things. These things are cool. He didn't have one, but he showed me like a picture and stuff. And basically what it is, it's a little thing that someone created for people that are either they're doing a test, or even just for, people that are even with attention deficit and all that stuff. Right. And so it's a way for you to just kind of play with this thing. Like there's little spinners on it. There's little balls, or like all these little things. It's a little cube. And it would literally cost like less than probably $1 to make. And they were selling them for, I think they had a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter did really well. And I think it sold, I forget what it sold, but they were selling them for like 20 or 25 bucks, and they were doing okay. But then of course, it's easy to source. The minute they came up on Alibaba, everyone started jumping in. So immediately, I told my son, I'm like, no, that's going to be, thumbs down to Dom gives it a thumb down. It's just too easy. And there's going to be no differentiation that you're going to be able to provide other than you say, get 2 for the price of 1. And then you're going to be competing on price. Anytime you're going to be competing on price, you're doomed. So
I saw a story about this today. I guess the lady that originally invented it didn't renew the patent. It didn't pay the $400 patent renewal fee, and I guess like the day that it expired is when it exploded. So she, of course, she's not getting any of the patent royalties, but the manufacturers saw it. They knew that it was going to be cool, and they started manufacturing it and putting it out. And the guy did the Kickstarter, and this whole thing took off out of it, which is kind of interesting too, right?
If you're first to market, I was going to say, if they're going to first to market the Kickstarter dudes or whatever, they're all over the place. The problem with that type of product is the trade companies, the guys that are selling on AliExpress, on DHgate, they're already on there selling them for $2.33 free shipping. I don't know how they do it. $1.85 free shipping, and it's all shipped from the Orient. And there's hundreds of those listings. There was another product that we were going to launch in the open brand, and we were pretty excited about it. And then it kind of got exposed a little bit. And then remember Scott, we talked about it.
Yep.
And then now they're everywhere for $2.99, $1.99. Before you could get $15 for it. So all the overseas guys came in and did it, and it's pretty well done. And you can tell they're from overseas because they have crazy names and none of them make sense. And of course, just check where they're shipping from. That'll tell you. So anytime you see that, you just stay away from it. And there's the spinners, there's the cubes. Again, they were selling for $9.99, $14.99, but now if you just type it in, spinner cubes or nothing. They're I don't know how they make any money. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Okay.
Nick Gamble says, just launched a product with no giveaways, and they're selling 10 to 15 a day with no reviews on the listing. Can't wait to get the launch list going to see how much more that will boost that. Nick, That's awesome. I want to know, Nick, and just let me know in the chat if you feel comfortable doing it, or send me a message on Facebook. Is this in the same brand that you have, or is this in a different brand? Because I know you talked about possibly starting a new brand, so I'm curious about that. For those of you guys who don't know, Nick has been ridiculously successful in his first brand. He has a really cool story about how he was able to do FBA from the hospital, which is kind of cool as well. If he ever wants to share that with you guys, that to me is an inspiration. I saw another great question here, Scott, that is just avoiding me now in the queue. Here it is. It's from Charles from Dallas. He says, multi-part question. I'm looking to create a kit that will require purchasing from multiple factories. can I have them consolidate and package it? And then if so, what are the options for packaging? Most of them are using like the box with the plastic insert. So yes, you can talk to any of the factories if you have to get the pieces from multiple factories, and that will happen in some cases, not in others, right? If it's a factory that sells garlic presses, they might also sell garlic press cleaners or whatever you're going to put in that kit. So check with that first factory. If you can get it all done in one place, they'll package it all up for you. If not, then you have to kit it or have it kitted by one of the factories or by some sort of kitting or co-packing facility. Even if they're doing a box with the plastic insert, you could just poly bag them together as a package. Dom, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're the packaging king, so I want to kind of get your feedback on that as well.
Well, a standard for us, I mean, I don't know, these questions seem to be really ironic or deadbolt today. I mean, another product that me, you, and Scott were talking about was we're going to have to get parts from 4 or 5 different factories, right? Because this is going to put it together. Again, that's a good thing because nobody else is going to do that. Do you want to go to 5 different factories to source stuff? But we know it's going to be a hit, this product. So we're going to do it. And you always pick the main factory where the manufacturing, the main product is, and then they'll source it for you pretty well. You tell them you need this, and they'll go get it for you. They'll pay for it, and then they'll invoice you with it at the same time. So they'll do all that stuff up front. They'll say, okay, you need this. Okay, you want this from this, or this. We'll find it for you because they have agents too that look for stuff all the time, and this is how much it's going to be. But you have to order 5,000 of these, but we only need 1,000. So you're going to have to keep 4,000 at their warehouse until you do your shipment. There's going to be a lot of little stuff like that. As far as packaging, the easiest way to do it is, I tell people, either send them your competitor's packaging if you like them, or the major retailer if they're packaging, and say, I want it exactly like this. If 2, ask them what they've packaged in the past. Okay, what of other sellers? What is the guy in New Zealand, Australia, the 10 guys in the US that you sell to, the 3 guys in Canada? Okay, and then they'll send you pictures. They'll actually send you pictures of their packaging, which I hate, but that's part of it. You know, even when they send you samples of packaging, sometimes they'll send you your competitors, which is crazy, you know. But that's what you'll do. So there's 2-3 ways to find out packaging. Or, you know, you don't want to get too complex though, right? You know, most people just use, it's the same thing, a traditional cardboard box. If you want to put an insert in, or if you want a clamshell or an open face box, you know, there's a million ways you can package it. You know, PE, PP bag, you know, a zip rip at the top, a zip. A zip, like a lot of food bags now do, you know, like peanuts now. You open it once, you can reclose it, but the top seal gets ripped off. You can never use the top. So there's a lot of ways you can repackage it. But
I think for people, Dom, on this, we've just been doing this. You just ask your supplier, can you show me some of the packaging options that you have currently?
Yeah.
They're going to give it. That's what we've done for all of these new products in this new brand. And basically we just customize that material to be more of our brand, like that represents our brand. I think that's it.
I mean, if you're going to you know, here I'm going to do a Bill Strutt. Well, if he's out there, he'll know. You know, he's got a beautiful box that he designed, and you know, he put it through us, and it's because, you know, he got a good graphic designer to design it, but he also went and said, okay, this is what a competitor has their box. I kind of like this shape of the box from a major brand. And I said, I want my box the same thing. I want the styrofoam inside to be the same, or the plastic, or the whatever, you know. And that's what he said. Just sent them the sample, and they said, okay, we could do that, no problem. It's going to be 45 cents a box for this, and 12 cents for the styrofoam, or 10 cents for the bubble wrap, or 5 cents for the whatever, you know, for the PVC bag inside, or something like that. And that's all you do.
That's it.
And then you just pick and choose. That's it. And most companies will have 2-3 options. You know, a lot of the quick fix PL stuff, you know, like I said, like your garlic presses and your spatulas, they're just going to throw in and they're just going to tell you, oh, we just throw it in an OPP bag, they call it.
Right.
A poly bag. That's it. And then you go, nah, I don't want that. Can you tell me what other options? And then they'll tell you all the different ones.
Scott, something that we should probably talk about, and it's something that you and I have done this week, is the 2-step authentication through Amazon.
Yes.
You know, if you guys haven't seen this yet, if you don't already have it set up in your account, I would suggest setting it up. I've always been a fan of 2-step authentication. Amazon never really made it easy. And there were some people, at least in Private Label Classroom over the last few weeks, that had some people hack into their Amazon accounts and try to change stuff around. So my suggestion would be, if you don't have that set up, go set it up. And Amazon has a guide on that, I believe. It's very easy. Basically, what they'll make you do is just they'll text you a code to your phone if they're not aware of like the computer that you normally log in from, right? So if anybody tries to log into your account from a different device, they'll send you a code, and then if you know who it is, you can forward the code on to them, and they can actually log in. If you're logging in from like a hotel room or something where you wouldn't normally log in from, it's just an extra layer of security, and my suggestion would be to go enable that. It can be a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But I would rather have, I would rather have to wait 30 seconds to get a text message if I'm holed up at a hotel than have somebody hack into my Amazon account and maybe potentially change the banking information so that my next nice check from Amazon doesn't go to me and goes to them instead. So
yeah, they actually alerted me to actually go to they basically set up, it was up in my right hand corner. They just said, do you want to enroll in the two-step authentication. Yeah, that's a tough one today.
Authentication.
And I just went through the process and I did it. And then the new brand, we did it with that one as well. It's a little goofy at first because then if you and I are both logging in, we could have a problem. And the one person gets sent the code, then you got to send the code back. Once you get that done, you're not going to really be presented with that stuff. And if you are, you just have to be part of that backup phone number system, and then you can send yourself, a text with that code. But it's been fine for us now that we're kind of through that process. But I would definitely recommend anyone out there. I know Alan Hayden, one of our students in the class, he had a horror story happen. He got it all worked out and figured out, and he reported on the whole exact thing, and he gave all the steps and everything. But he said, bottom line is, do the two-step authentication. Have you guys ever had a word that you're a little nervous to say, but you're going to try to say it anyway? Today, it's authentication for me.
There you go.
Anytime I'm ready to say that word today, for some reason, it feels like I'm going out there on a limb. It might not come out properly.
The authentication.
Guys, I want to bring up something too about the back end. Obviously, a couple things have changed, and that's the one thing is the advertising, the campaign manager. I'm hating it. It was a beta, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, and it's very annoying. I've talked to customers every couple of times that your advertising daily amount does not reflect what your campaign amount is anymore. It used to be bang on. Now it's way behind. So if you have your advertising, it'll say $89. You go to campaign, it'll say $20. So now I have no clue what campaigns are using all my money, and I can't stop, start, lower anything. So anyways, they said they're working on it. I just want to see if anybody else out there that's listening has had that issue, because it's a pain. I'll go to campaign, it'll say, $89, and then my campaign, it'll be out of budget. I'm like, well, my campaign budget's like $200 for this account. And it's because the advertising budget has actually spent out, but it doesn't show it into the campaign. So I was curious to see if anybody else is having it, because if they are, please call in to Amazon customer complaint so we can get this fixed, because I need to know what my PPC is bang on every time I look in there. So that was one thing. And then I noticed this crazy new catalog button, and I pressed on it, and it just takes you to add a product. So I don't get that. I don't know if you guys have seen that too. I'm looking at it right now. It says catalog. And then I guess maybe you could just add a product directly instead of going to your inventory. I think that's what it is.
I think it's just
from the Seller Central dash.
Yeah, from the Seller Central dash, it'll say catalog new. And instead of going into inventory and then managing inventory, then have to say add a product, you can actually just hit add a product from there. So why don't they just put the link that says add a product? That would make sense.
Well, you just said you just said the phrase there for Amazon. Wouldn't that make sense? Yeah, that would make sense.
Anyways, I just wanted. Chris? Did you guys notice anything about the PPC? How the campaigns are lining up and they said it's and then it's a nightmare trying to work on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android. You can't scroll down because I don't know how. Again, I'm not a term guy inside it. I don't know the technology, but it's inset. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the campaign is now. It's like in an iframe. It's not mobile friendly. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Is it scroll? And you can only see the first 8 keyword campaigns. You can't scroll down on a phone or an iPad. It doesn't allow you to push into the thing. I'm like, well, come on. Yeah, guys. So they
haven't made that mobile friendly then.
No, they have not. Because I was trying to do my PPC on my iPad in the car the other day while my wife was driving, not while I was driving, and I'm like, I can't. I have to wait till I get home now or to the office to do it.
Now I'm just picturing Dom doing PPC on an iPad at a stoplight.
Yeah, Now I'm waiting till they do voice activated PPC. That would be great. Change it to 35 cents. Change it to $1.
You'll have to.
Stop
There's probably an app for that. You'll have to create that if not.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I
And
know.
Brett says you have to keep refreshing each screen inside the new campaign manager as well. So that's fun. I'm using Ignite for almost everything now.
Yeah, I mean, even you guys right now, I want you to go to your advertising reports, see what it is for your day, and then go to your campaign manager. Go to advertising, go to your campaign manager, and it won't be close. It'll be about, your campaign manager will be a quarter or a 20 to 25% of what your advertising reports say, where it used to be even Steven. So if it said $98, your campaign would say 98. It would tell you each campaign how much you spent. You guys know that. And it'd be exactly right on. Maybe $1 or $2 off sometimes, but not like this. So it's a nightmare trying to, because
I'm looking at it right now. It's off by 200% currently.
Yeah. See, it's horrible. It's brutal. So how do you know? So sometimes I just want to turn a campaign off because I just don't want to spend more than $25. I'm like, today I only want to spend 18 on it. Now I look at it, it says $3, and then and then an hour later it's like, it's like over budget. I'm like, come on, guys. So anyway, hopefully we'll fix that.
I was going to say that's going to have to be a fix within Amazon. I mean, I think since now that they've rolled over to the beta or out of beta, and now they're bringing that across everything, now they're starting to see some of those bugs.
And that kind of brings up another question, because you're talking about search terms there, Dom. We've been seeing some rumors on the back end that not everybody's search terms are indexing at this point. Scott, have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I have actually. And again, it's all hearsay. We don't know 100%. What I have been told though is that, and there's been, a little bit of testing done, within a few people that I talked to about this, and they're definitely seeing that you're being indexed for phrases, and not just individual keywords. Thank God, Chris just said. Yeah, well,
the way that they've done keywords for a while is just dumb.
Right. But now here's the thing, though, Chris. Here's the challenge. Like, if we want to, because before it was cool, if you had garlic up here and then, I said up here, if you had garlic here and then, 10 words down you had press, it would find garlic and press and then make them, and I get it. But if we want to get index for garlic press as one phrase, we have to have those two together. So that means that we're going to have to do garlic press, space, or comma, space, and then stainless steel garlic press.
No, because you would still be able to rank for that phrase. If this is the case, what they'd be looking for is relevance, right? And Dom's talked about this in the past, where like if they're closer together in the old way of doing it, they're given more weight, right? So what I would do is I would just type in garlic press and then stainless steel, right?
That's it.
And you're going to be indexed for each of those phrases. So when somebody types in stainless steel garlic press, it doesn't matter.
But if that one keyword, that one word is 10 words down the line, it's not going to be as close. So then they're not going to pick that up. Again,
but they don't do that now.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if you wanted to pick up a phrase, you have to have that phrase be an exact phrase in order to be indexed for that exact phrase. And I was just on a call with someone that had this side by side and literally did that and was not ranking for the phrase, ranking for the individual keywords of the phrase, but not as the phrase. And then once you put the phrase in, it was indexed.
That's what about repeat keywords then? I mean, for all our major keywords, we put them together. I've always have. Now that you have 5,000 per line, I don't care. I'll put garlic press stainless steel. I'll put the word garlic press twice together.
I think now, I mean, if, again, this is all speculation. If this is the case, then yes, you are going to be using, stainless steel garlic press, comma space, stainless steel blue handle garlic press, comma space, like
oversized.
And if that's how they want us to do it, then that's fine. But they need to tell us that, right? And that's kind of the thing that we're waiting on.
They'll never tell us that. Yeah.
Well, they have very clear guidance right now on what you're supposed to do. They very specifically say no comma. Every word is a very individual thing. No commas. There's no reason to do it. If you go into the Seller University stuff, it's all listed out. It's not necessarily listed out in the listing creation section, but it is in the Seller University stuff. So and when they rolled to what did it used to be, Scott? It was like 250 characters, and then they made it like 5,000, 1,000 to 5,000, and now it looks like they're kind of shrinking it back to 500, and they're focused on phrases. But if you think about it, it wouldn't have to be blue long-handled stainless steel garlic press. It would just have to be stainless steel garlic press or garlic press for you to start to be relevant for that. Just like in PVC, they're still going to look at it on a broad match. Now, obviously, the closer you match to that up front, the more likely you are to rank for that. But if I make one sale on blue silicone long-handled stainless steel garlic press, I'm going to rank for that. Right? Because they're not just looking at the keyword. It's the keywords or the search term, the back-end search terms that make you relevant, and then the sales add to the relevance of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. GC just had a question about the, you want to put that up, that question?
He says, I don't understand the space after the comma. So one, right now, I still wouldn't be using commas. Because they very specifically say inside Seller Central not to use commas in your search terms. If you do and it works for you, great. If you don't, then you should be indexed for all of those things. But if you put a comma and then didn't have a space after it, then it's just one word, right?
Exactly.
They can't parse it out necessarily if you don't leave a space after it. So the reason that we don't suggest using commas now is because comma space is 2 characters versus just space.
I never understood the comma thing anyways. Why do you need it? Just hit space bar. I don't get it. Just put your word space.
Well, no, Dom, because what they're saying, and I actually at a couple of the meetups that we were at, a couple guys swore by it. They swore by it, and these guys were doing thousands a month, and they've done testing and back and forth, and they're like, I've done it without commas with the phrase. So again, long handle stainless steel garlic press without a comma. Yes, you can still rank, but you're not weighted the same. That was their argument.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've got 4 brands, and I never put 1 comma, and we're doing all right. We sell lots of units every week, so I get it. Maybe I'm not willing to try it ever.
As of yesterday, still at least, unless they've changed it today, was to not use commas.
Yeah.
Because they don't need, they're not needed currently. If they move to a phrase environment, you would need a comma so that you can say this is the end.
Exactly.
Right? Because if it's a 2-word phrase, Dom, in that case, your space would separate garlic and press, and then they don't know where the phrase ends. So you have to put a comma or a tab or something, right? But right now you don't need them. At least based on Amazon's guidance, right? That's what they're saying. So that's what I tend to go with.
Well, again, what I was going to say when you were saying that you had it face to side by side. I mean, I think that goes. It might have to go back to what I've talked to for years with you guys. You know, where you put your keywords together and how you space them.
True.
So if you put, and I split tested that for a year on a couple, and the closer you get your keywords together, the better. I mean, you could just, if you move one word out, you're not going to rank as good for that within even a couple hours. It's just the way it works. So that's why I always say, always copy your title, whatever your main title is, as your first thing. And I do the same thing for all the variations, right? It's always the same first title. And then after we'll play around with the second and third and fourth line. Because I've split tested it, and I find you can usually get away with about 2 words. And after that, it starts getting, so you can only, if you want blue garlic, stainless steel garlic press, you can only put stainless steel oversized garlic press. If you put stainless steel something else garlic press, you're gonna, if you want to start ranking for stainless steel, you're breaking the chain.
Phrase. Yep.
Yeah, and it's the same way with your title. It's exactly the same way. So for guys out there that are testing their title, because we did that lot split testing when we first started, you're like, how come I'm not ranking for this? And as soon as I would switch the words around and they were close within 2 words, then we'd start ranking for those titles. So maybe it's, I'm just for myself. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but I'm assuming if it works for us, it's got to work. So especially when you move around your title for competitive reasons, right? Because you see maybe your competitors getting a, better conversion or selling a little more. Sometimes
let me ask you this, Dom. Yep. Let me ask you this. Okay, Mother's Day's coming.
Correct.
How do we get indexed for Mother's Day in our in our listing somewhere?
Yeah, well, I would never put it in the title because it's against terms of service, but you can put it in your bullet somewhere and just say great Mother's Day gift inside, and then I would put Mother's Day in the back end if you want to. The same thing. Again, it's not going to hurt. I have the word Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, New Year's, 4th of July, Cinco de Mayo in some of our listings.
Hey, today, by the way.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo for all our Spanish listeners.
I'm going to have
the day off
tonight. I know that.
That's true. Yeah. So that's how I would do it. Again, don't put in the title. I see people do it all the time. I mean, that's this is the old school
TAS violation.
Yeah, so anyone right now that is thinking to themselves that they want to run a best special, do not put it in your title. And you're going to see people doing it. But to me, it's a great way to get yourself suspended or get yourself.
The easy example is Prime Day.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And Amazon actually puts out explicit directions not to include that. Right.
Now,
do not include the words Prime Day in your listing.
Right. But now Chris and Dom had brought that up. There's nothing wrong with putting it in a bullet. Great Mother's Day gift. Why wouldn't it, Chris? Chris, if I'm selling something that's a great Mother's Day gift, why wouldn't I say it in my benefit?
If it is a Mother's Day gift,
I'm saying if it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do it for Christmas.
It's not as much of an issue in your bullets. Do not put it, and your bullets also aren't really indexed for search. They're indexed, but they're not as relevant for search as your title and your backend search terms, right?
Right.
I personally would not put it in my title and my backend search terms. Brett brings up a good point. He says you can run PPC on it for Mother's Day gift. If it really, if you have an awesome Mother's Day gift, you could do that as well. Now there are a lot of people who put stuff in their search terms. One of the examples that I know, and I'm not going to call him out by name, but he knows who he is. Oprah's favorite things, right? Goes in all of his search terms. Right. And he knows that it works for him because he's done it with and without it. And every time he puts it in, he knows that his sales go up because it's something that Oprah talked about at one point.
Right.
So,
but if you have something that's a gift that can be giving on Mother's Day or Father's Day,
I don't have an issue with that in your bullets and potentially in your search terms, but do not add it to your title.
Exactly. I say not in the title, but definitely if it's there and it's a Christmas present or it's something you're going to give to a veteran or whatever, like that's what it's for. Like, so yes, put it in there. But like you're saying, Chris, don't put it in there just to get the traffic, because who cares anyway? If the traffic isn't going to convert, if you convert at 1%, you don't want that traffic. Anyway.
That was a good question I saw. I don't know if it was here, if it was in the Amazing Seller group earlier today when I was going through there, but somebody said, should I not be driving external traffic because it converts poorly? And my answer to that would be, you have no idea how it converts because you can't track the conversion on it. Right. So, it might convert poorly. It might convert really well for you. I wouldn't stop that from sending something like an email to my list if I'm trying to launch the product. What I would not do is run consistent Facebook ads direct to the product day in and day out and drive visitors that I can't track conversion on, because that is likely to drag down my conversion rate. And Scott, even people, like even the email list that we sent out, we had more people visit the listing than buy the thing. We didn't have 100% conversion rate. I think we converted those people at 11%, right? From people who hit the listing to people who actually bought.
Right.
That's lower than what we would get organically, but it's higher than what you would get from just blasting PPC at it.
Yes.
So day one, we got 27 sales, something like that. And in the first 3 days, we were well over 60. And in the first 5, we did 147, something like that. I'll take 147 sales with very little organic traffic any day of the week.
Yeah.
Right. And there's some rumors out there that Amazon likes external traffic if it converts. That's awesome. I don't care. I care about the sales that I can generate from it, because I know that Amazon cares about sales. And so that's what our focus was. Even if it converts a little bit lower than what we would get from organic traffic, we need to get sales to get the organic traffic. So I'm willing to take that up front and then let my conversion rate take back off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Eugene says, can't you track external traffic with a coupon code? Eugene, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Yes and no. We found out that from the people who bought through the email that we sent out, less than half of them, actually right around half of them, used the promo code that we gave them. So,
and why is that, Chris?
I like to think that
we have a
brilliant pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Part of it is people just get to the thing and they go, oh, this is cool, and then they want to buy it. But we set up our pricing so that our retail price was 50% higher than the sales price anyway. So it showed the 50% savings. And then if they use the coupon, they actually got an additional 50% off. Now, the 50% savings is where we feel comfortable selling the product normally until we decide we want to raise the price. So we just set our MSRP and it showed a 50% savings. So a lot of people clicked through, saw that it was 50% off. It made sense because they saw that it was 50% off, didn't enter the promo code, and just bought it.
Yeah. Have you looked at that? Have you looked at those numbers recently? I'm just curious on that. I haven't looked.
Yeah, it was like 25%. And I said, let's give it a few days because I don't think all of them have shipped. And I looked yesterday and it was like like 48 or 52.
So out of those, we only had 50% that actually used the code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another takeaway here from doing this, and I know we're skipping around here with keyword indexing and all that stuff, but kind of going back to, that giveaway that we did, and the giveaway was 50% off. We still ended up walking away with over $150 in profit from doing a giveaway. When before, and Dom, correct me if I'm wrong, but going back in the day, we would give away product at $1 or for free, and we would pay FBA fees and our cost of goods. And to give away 100 units, you'd spend some money to do that. So, I mean, things are different now by doing it this way. And I know a lot of your strategy now really is just starting pay-per-click, but also finding those products that are low in reviews and low competition, and then just start driving sales with pay-per-click. Is that true?
Yeah, correct. 100%. Actually, 150%, I should say. I haven't given away a product in a year now, I don't think. So we just lost Chris.
Yeah, what we're going to do, Chris just jumped ship on us.
What we're going to do, he's the tech guy. We're probably not even live anymore. So how's it going? Everything's going
there
good?
He is, Chris.
Oh, here he is.
He likes to drop in on the podcast.
He's good.
Just standing here.
That's why it's called.
And all of a sudden everybody disappears. That's the beauty of doing this live.
Yeah, it's live. You are live.
It's probably the guy next door. His nail gun. Just put it right through my cable connection.
Nice. So yeah, what we were talking. What I was going to say is, yeah, our strategy's totally changed in the last year since the terms of service changed. And again, we say it doesn't affect us, and it really hasn't affected me except for that idea of like, you know what? Again, I've said it lots of times on the broadcast here. I'm just tired of competing with a million people, so I'd rather go slow and steady with products that I know there's not going to be much competition. And to be honest, if we do a funnel, if we do an email capture, that's great. That's bonus. That helps us. But we're in categories or products that there's really not a lot of competition. You know what I'm saying? So it's not essential to do it because we're still going to start doing our 4 or 5 sales a day and then ramping it up and get lucky here and there. And then if we want to do that follow-up sequence, we can definitely do that to push it. Again, I think that sequence means a lot more sense when you have a brand to it like you guys are doing, because now you can push it to 4, 5, 6 different products. For the open brand, you got to make separate lists for everything. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're kind of doing right now.
Yep.
So then once we launch 2, 3, then it'll be fine, because once we have 3, 4, 5 items in each category, then it makes even more sense. But yeah, it's just a low entry point with variations to draw people in. It's the same concept as a retailer. It's the same thing. Same reason why you always look to see who's got their milk cheapest, their sugar cheapest, their banana cheapest, their pop cheapest, and their water, right? Those are the 4 or 5 top SKUs. People go in and get that, and they're going to buy other stuff when they get in there. It's the same premise. They're not giving away free bananas at Save Right. They're not giving free toilet paper at Walmart till you come in to try it. It's just they're putting it at $6.99 for 24 rolls. You're like, oh my god! And of course, Walmart's losing their shirt on it.
I'm just picturing. You said to try it. I'm picturing, the little the sample ladies.
Yeah.
They're like, here, have some
right.
sausage.
Here,
here's some. Go use the bathroom and try the Walmart brand toilet paper and let us know.
No, they would be standing outside of the restroom.
Outside the restroom. They could be doing that. Yeah.
1 or 2. 1. No,
correct.
We're good.
Correct. Nice.
This is roll a great value toilet paper. This is
right. So yeah.
But this is what goes on in our heads.
I mean, it's not even the money, Scott and Chris. The time to set up those codes and send stuff out and deal with people that didn't get their codes right, and I don't know, it's just a nightmare.
That's not a great point.
And not 5 a day, 100 a day before, 50 a day, 75, 200 a day in the past. Times 4 days, relax for a couple of days, buying 1,000 units just to give away out of the 5,000, or I buy 2,000, I'd have to give it 1,000 just to rank. Again, I'm not against that. If you still want to do that concept, go ahead. If you're in a really big category or a tough cat, you're gonna still kind of have to do that. And I'm not upset or mad all the money I lost or that I spent to get the brands that are up to now, because I'm happy we're successful now. But you don't need to do that anymore for all of that stuff. And it's kind of, I don't know. I've noticed it's kind of quieted down though, right? You don't hear too many people talking about it anymore. It's not like, hey, let's release Garcinia. Let's do selfie sticks. It's kind of, everyone kind of goes to their own niche, whether it's sports and outdoors or home and kitchen, and they're kind of just finding their own place inside. And the guys that can't follow the guidelines that we set up, they're the ones getting lost and still releasing the silicone gloves and the meat claws.
They're still being launched.
Like we just said, don't do the click. The click thing, the whatever.
People will still do the spin.
There'll be 10 guys doing 10 spinners. I don't get it, and I'll say that till the show gets off the air, which won't be for another 20 years. Just to let everyone know, we're going to be here for a long time. But you got to just think. It's simple. It's the whole thing. No matter how you're doing it, whether you're doing a launch entry point or giveaways or funnel, it's all product selection and making sure you're not in a crazy competitive market. And that's easy. You type in your keyword you want to look at. You see 55 pages of the same stuff. You don't even research anymore. Don't even waste more than 10 minutes. Right. So. Yep.
Okay. Anyways. Cool. We got to wrap this up here soon. What do we got? Any more quick questions, Chris?
Alex wants to know if we're using super URLs. No, it's not something that I would suggest using, especially now.
I think the new super URL, Chris, is driving pay-per-click traffic to that product through that keyword.
Get dem sales, baby. Doesn't matter that it's not attributed to a specific keyword. You guys have all heard the phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a super URL anymore. I mean, I was a big proponent of it for years. But if you got 5,000 or 10,000 people on your email list, you can just that's your super URL right there. Right. 50% off to boot. If you want to, get some BSR movement, if you want to spike your algorithm,
be optimized.
Here's 50%. Yeah, be optimized. Everything. I'm assuming when I say this stuff, I'm assuming your listing is optimized already. If it's not optimized, you shouldn't be selling. I don't get it. Optimize pictures, keywords, everything. This is the same thing. When you buy a brand new car, it's all done detailed for it. It's all brand new. It smells fresh. They don't make it's an image. It's same thing with anything that's new. Your house, a brand new house that you buy, it's all done up.
Yep.
So my point is that you use the funnel list, the email list capture as your super URL, because you're just driving them directly to your traffic. You know who it is, you know who's buying from you, and you just punch out promotions every couple of days if you really want to.
Sure.
You don't need anything else. Super URLs, again, I was a big proponent of it, but I don't give away anything anymore, so I don't care.
Cool. What you got, Chris? Anything else?
The last thing I wanted to bring up, and it was a point that Dom brought up, was you're not spending time worrying about coupon codes, and I wanted to get feedback from the other two. You guys, are you even using the one-time use codes anymore? Because Scott, for the launch that we did, we used a group code. We didn't go through all of the extra stuff.
Yeah, no, because
you're not giving it away for free.
You're not giving it away for free. So what do you care? Yeah. If you're making money on every sale, then buy my inventory, right?
If they want to give out my code at a trailer park and 85 people want to buy their Billy Bob teeth, go ahead, man. I don't mind taking the 50% off. At 90% off, I don't want Billy Bob's teeth getting bought, so they can sell it on eBay for $3.99 the next day. And that's basically what's happening. Right, the review groups were taking the stuff, buying the stuff, taking your stuff, giving you the same generic, feedback or review that they're giving everybody else, and putting their stuff and then selling your stuff on eBay. It was crazy. What were we thinking? But that's just the times. It's we don't wear bell bottoms anymore either. We don't have platform shoes, and it's evolution of the product launch. And speaking of that, that's why I like RA so much. Because really it hasn't changed over the years, except it's getting harder to source stuff, and a lot of brands are getting creative, but everything's pretty well stayed the same. I mean, speaking of RA, I know tomorrow is our last 1K fast track. I never want to forget about the 1K fast track. I know I had to bring it up. That was my segue. Look at that. So yeah, I'm excited for that tomorrow. We're gonna wrap up strong. Some guys have got some crazy numbers.
Yeah,
it's insane. Guys, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. It's insane. I can't believe it. How fast people have scaled up big products, and then a lot of guys coming in at the end, which is, I'm happy for them. They finally got product in, and Scott, hey, can I get a T-shirt? Stuff like that. So, hey, it might have taken 5 weeks, but at least you're getting ready. At least you've started the process.
Yep.
So I'm happy for everyone.
We've had some really great stories in there, and some were slow starters, and then once they got started, they really ramped it up, and it's been exciting to watch, and we'll definitely be sharing more about that. And we'll also be putting that rumor to rest of, is retail arbitrage dead? And the answer is no. And I think we just proved that 2 times with 2 different groups. So the 1K fast track is getting ready to come to a close for this group, but there is talk of what we're going to do next with the 1K Fast Track class, and it might be more of a kind of go at your own pace, but yet we're still going to have a deadline as far as when we want you to get things done. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys are at all interested in joining the 1K Fast Track, head over to 1kfasttrack.com, get on that early notification list, and we'll let you know any details when that's available, which should be probably, I would say, within the next few weeks. And other than that, yeah, I'm pumped up for everything that we got going on. I mean, exciting stuff. I mean, we've got the Seller Summit. I'll be there in about 3 weeks. I'm speaking there. Also going to have a TAS meetup there, which will be fun. North Carolina, we're going to be doing our workshop there. We have an unofficial meetup there, and we have a workshop, which we have 15 people attending, which filled up pretty quickly. And then we're contemplating doing a day 2 where we'll have another set of 15 people come in. So if you guys got locked out and you couldn't get into that one day, go ahead and head over to theamazingseller.com/live, and you'll get all the details there. And we'll be considering opening up day 2 on that. And then the unofficial meetup, that'll be announced there as well. So keep an eye out for that, which we're going to be meeting with. Well, I don't know how many people are going to show up. I'm going to guess about 30 to 50 people. And that'll be at the end of, or the 3rd week in June. So if you're in the area or you want to come to the area, definitely jump over there and check that stuff out. Other than that, Chris, I think I'm ready to rock and roll. Actually, you know what I got to go do right now? Take a guess what I got to go do.
Go to Walmart.
Volleyball.
Nope.
Go to Walmart. No.
You're both wrong.
Cut.
I get this new brand, and I have to go grab an extra box because we need to ship 6 more in, and I got to go do that. So that's where I'm heading. I'm actually going to fill up my car with
Nice.
with a few boxes
With
and
some
ship
product.
them over to UPS. So I got to ship product.
Right. You gonna come over to my warehouse and get some product too? I can fill your car up.
That.
It's a little longer. It's a little bit of a longer drive.
It's a little bit of a longer drive, and it's way more than I want to tackle. You need a tractor trailer for that. So, Chris, let's wrap this baby up. I just want to thank everyone for stopping by our Friday TAS Power Hour with my good friend Dom Sugar and Chris Shaffer. Definitely let your friends know about the TAS Power Hours. We're here on Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and share this up. If you guys are watching this on a replay, you can still ask questions and leave comments down below, and feel free to share this. Give this a little bit of love. We're on here doing this for you for free. All you got to do is show up and tap on a couple of those little likes and some of those share buttons. That would be cool. So, Chris, is there anything else you want to say, or Don, before we wrap up?
That's it for me.
No, I'm good, man. You guys have a good weekend, and let's take action, as they say.
Let's
on.
do it.
See you kids bright and early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll see you, Don, and Chris, in the morning, 11 a.m. So we'll see you guys in the 1K Fast Track. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Chris, if you want to wrap this up, that would be awesome. And yes, as Chris says, that's all, folks. I'll see you guys. Take care. And as always, take action. We'll see you.